Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today I am super excited because we are celebrating 50 subscribers. It's not much, but it's a start. I am super thankful to all of you who have subscribed, to all of you who continue to follow me on Instagram and who are supporting me, sharing my videos, liking, commenting. Guys, thank you so much. It means a lot. So I pulled my Instagram followers last week and I asked what recipe you guys would want to see, and you guys voted for my soft baked pretzels. Guys, this is the perfect time of the year to whip this up as an appetizer or just a snack, especially if you're getting together to watch one of the football games or one of the basketball games in your house. This is super quick to put together. It's very simple. It requires very few ingredients, and trust me, you are gonna love this. It tastes like a pretzel you get at the mall, if not better. So if you want to find out how to make these pretzels, just keep watching. Alright guys, so as always, I will be leaving a list of the ingredients and their measurements in the description box below. But for this recipe, you will need 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 packet of active dry yeast. You will need 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar along with 1 tablespoon of salt. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of oil divided. So in the little clear container, I have 2 tablespoons, and then in the white little bowl, I have another 1 tablespoon. And you're going to need 1.5 cups of warm water. Now, when you're working with yeast, sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating, but don't stress the temperature of the water too much. You don't want it to be hot because you will kill the yeast. So what I go by is use the temperature that you would give your baby some warm milk. It's not going to burn them, but it is warm. So today I'm going to go ahead and make this right in my standing mixer. I'm going to go ahead and start activating my yeast right in the mixing bowl. Now, for this recipe, you do not need a standing mixer, but if you don't have a standing mixer, I recommend that you do this by hand and not with an electric hand mixer. My standing mixer will be fitted with a dough hook, and if your electric hand mixer does not have a dough hook, I do not recommend that you make this recipe in there. The dough will be very thick and it's just going to be a mess. So if you don't have a mixer, go ahead and do this by hand. I've done it by hand before and it works great. So the process of activating the yeast is actually really simple. All I'm going to do is add my 1.5 cups of warm water to my mixing bowl, along with my salt and my sugar, which I had already combined in a small bowl. We're going to briefly give these a whisk just to have the sugar and salt dissolve. And then we're going to add in our packet of yeast, and we're not going to mix it. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Now, during these 5 minutes, your yeast is going to start to get foamy. Don't touch it, don't mix it. Let it rest until the 5 minutes have passed. After 5 minutes, this is what your yeast should look like. You can see it's foamy around the edges and it will let out a really yeasty smell. Go ahead and turn your mixer, if you're using a mixer, on low and add in your oil. If you're doing this by hand, just add in your oil. It's the same step. And we're going to slowly add our flour in little by little in batches, and just let this start to come together and form a dough. Go ahead and scrape the sides of your bowl if you feel like you need to. Personally, I had to do it about 2 times just to make sure that all the flour was getting combined. Now, this is not something that you want to over mix or over knead at all, because then you're going to have a tougher, denser pretzel, and we don't want that. So once I removed my dough from my mixing bowl, it was a little sticky to the touch. So I went ahead and lightly floured my work surface, and I just gave it a really gentle knead. And you're going to see how it just moved from one hand to the other without sticking to my fingers. And that's what you want. You still want it to be a little bit tacky, but not so much that it's sticking to your fingers and you can't work with it. So then I used my 1 tablespoon of oil to just grease down the sides of a bowl, and then I put a little bit of oil over the top of my dough, and then I went ahead and covered it. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cover this, and you're going to want to place it somewhere warm for 1 hour for this dough to rise. My favorite place is in the microwave with the microwave turned off. So I went ahead and placed it in there and I waited 1 hour. And this is what it looked like after 1 hour passed. It had doubled, maybe even tripled in size. And as you can see, I had my sugar, some cinnamon, some coarse sea salt, and 2 eggs set up. Now, what I did was I went ahead and just mixed a little bit of sugar and some cinnamon to sprinkle over some of the pretzel bites that I made. And then I had my coarse sea salt for my sea salt pretzel. And the 2 eggs are just for the egg wash that you will see me spread on top of the pretzels before baking them. So once my dough had risen, I went and uncovered it. As you can see, it stuck a little bit to the top. So all I did was deflate it a bit and remove it from the bowl. And as you can see, it was still a little sticky to the touch. So I went ahead later on and added just a little bit of flour to get rid of some of that tackiness and make it a little more workable. What I did was I divided my dough into 8 equal parts. This recipe is good for 8 pretzels. If you're making pretzel bites, then the measurements are a little bit different, but all I did was cut these down, and each little ball I rolled out into a log, and then I used a scissor, which you'll see later on in the video, and I just snipped off little pretzel bites. So I am in no way skilled at making pretzel twists, so for that reason I did not film myself. I will admit it was a huge struggle, but somehow at the end it all came together. Honestly, I prefer making the pretzel bites. It's a lot less stressful, it's a lot less hassle, and it is delicious. Now, what you see me doing here is a crucial step in this process. Do not skip it out. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it. What I did was I gave my dough a baking soda bath, and what that does is it just really helps our pretzels get that golden brown color. I've made the pretzels before and I've skipped the baking soda bath, and they don't get that lovely golden brown color that is typical of a pretzel. So all I did was take a pot of water and I added 2/3 of a cup of baking soda. I brought it to a boil and I just dunked each one of my pretzels and pretzel bites in there for about 30 seconds. Then I removed them and I placed them all on a baking sheet lined with some parchment paper. And then I cracked and beat together my 2 eggs and just used a pastry brush to spread the egg wash on top of each one of the pretzel bites and the pretzels. Don't come at me for the pretzels. I know they're ugly, but they were delicious. So then I went ahead and sprinkled a mixture of cinnamon and sugar on my pretzel bites. I decided that I wanted my pretzel bites to be cinnamon sugar flavored, but you can go ahead and just sprinkle salt on them as well. And then I ground up some of the salt on my pretzels. You're going to want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees and place your pretzels inside for about 10 to 15 minutes or until golden brown. And this is how they turned out, guys. Now, if you can see, my pretzel bites are covered in cinnamon sugar. What I did was I took them out of the oven and I just tossed them in a little bit of melted butter, and then I put them right back into the cinnamon sugar mixture for them to pick up a little bit more of the sugar. I went ahead and served my salty pretzel with a little bit of mustard on the side, and it was delicious. So thanks again, guys, for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I really do hope that you give this recipe a try. If you do, leave me a comment and let me know. Don't forget to like the video, share it if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have a ton of recipes coming, a lot of fall inspired recipes, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.